Very,
All right, we're gonna be live on there. Are you ready to go? So it
maybe
looks like we got
maybe we get a package deal if we get fucking surgery going on.
Oh, dude, seriously. Well, because then he's like, it's there's a good chance it could be arthritis, and you know, he's saying how it starts to wear down your whole the ball and socket starts to wear down over time, and there might not be a whole lot. And I'm like, dude, I don't want to fucking hear this shit right now. He's like, if it doesn't improve, we can get an X-ray. I'm like, for what? I ain't getting like hip replacement surgery right now, so that ain't happening. So don't worry about it. So anyway,
yeah. Somebody said cortisone. I'm like, I'm too young.
Dude, I don't even want to go there either. Oh no.
I'm not doing that.
Buffering again. You there? Oh no. You there?
Yep.
Yeah, we're not though. Oh.
I'm fucking thing.
Ugh. I don't know if it's you or me. That's the thing. I don't know if it's you or me. You gonna switch? I think that's a yes.
I can't hear. It's every time we go live. This fucking thing, like
I know. I don't know, but it was all right when you switched computers last time.
Should I just sit right there? Should I just sit right here?
I don't know. It actually seems to be okay. Don't move.
I know.
I don't know what just happened.
Now you don't know if I'm frozen or not.
Except when you talk, it's a talk show. Do you want to switch computers?
What do you think?
It's at least it worked last time. At least we didn't have a problem last time.
Let me switch computers. I'll be back.
All right. Okay. Ooh. I might sit back today. Just a little funny angle. Scotty's just changing computers. This happened last week. Once he changed, we were okay though. So hopefully that'll solve the problem. All right. Thank you for that, Diana. We'll get there. Just waiting for Scotty to log back in, and we'll be all right. There he is. And here we go. And is he there?
Hello.
Oh, smooth as silk. Smooth as silk. Did you want to talk John Moran at all?
Nope. Fuck.
Nope. Okay. So we got combine talk. I have a list in order of my quarterback rankings as of right now. And if you have any other combine stuff that you wanted to talk about, that's fine. You with me?
Yeah, I got a bunch of I got all NFL shit together, like news, combines. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we got NFL rumors and deals.
Yeah.
And then you have a question for me?
No, you have your question for me.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we'll leave that. That's the okay. Okay. Correct. Gotcha. And then we have the Players Championship and the top 5 that you think or 5 guys that have a good shot at winning, I guess.
Yeah. Yep.
And then your new close. That's it, right? Well, it should be good. I'm actually very excited to hear what your new closing move is. Why isn't this starting? Oh, there it goes. All right. Is that good with it?
Yeah, bro. Let's go, me.
All right. Let me let this thing get fired up for a couple seconds. All right. Here we go. What's up, everybody, and welcome to Bump and Run, episode 100. I'm Pete Colasano, joined as always by the man, the myth, the legend, Scott Bracey. What's going on, dude?
Congratulations, sir, on a fat 100. Very
to
cool.
us, unbelievable. It's hard to believe that it all started with a phone call. A phone call where you actually kind of made me shit my pants a little bit because you were like, "Hey, can I talk to you?" Well, that's how I read it. It was a text, so it didn't sound like that. But that's how I read it. It's like, "Hey, can I talk to you?"
And now 2 years later, we're both in the hospitals and doctors knocking us
right?
out.
Yeah. Now we're both with bad hips. I guess sports podcasting is bad on the hips. Unbelievable. But 100, we're in our 3rd year. We've completed 2 years. We're in our 3rd year, 100 episodes. Unbelievable. For one thing, more than anything else, I'm so excited to see how you're going to end the show today because you can no longer give a list of players with their numbers. So that's exciting. I'm a little nervous to see how this goes. So pretty incredible stuff, though. Pretty incredible stuff. I'm surprised. But yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. I'm sitting back. I never sit back, and I'm going to try to stay sitting back.
Yeah.
But I never sit back. But I have to because of the hip. Like we were both talking about, we both gone to the chiropractor within the last week, almost on the same day.
Jesus.
Because of how bad the hips are going. It makes a little more sense to me because I'm like 15 years older than you, but not good.
No, it's not
good.
It's
we
not
shouldn't
good.
be breaking down this early.
My goodness.
Anyway, let's talk about some guys who are not breaking down. The combine took place in Indianapolis this past week, or I guess you would say last week into the weekend. And there was some interesting stuff. I will say this. There was a debate. There's been a debate going on over the last couple of years about the value of the combine. And as usual, this year, there were a couple players that had, without question, it helped. Right? Like if they didn't show up, they would have probably been taken in one spot. They show up. It's a very wow moment. And, their draft stock potentially goes up. I may discuss at least one of those players on this podcast today. But people are asked, like, is there any value? Well, I would never say none. It's nice to see a guy in person. It's nice to see what a guy's body looks like. It's nice to see how actually fast he is. But in the end, what's the most important thing is game film and, seeing these guys play football. Okay. And we'll talk about what some of these guys did at the combine and stuff like that. I'll let you start, and anything that you took away specifically from the combine itself that really stuck out to you.
I tell you, one of the most bizarre things in recent memory is the Jalen Carter situation from Georgia.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, what's the story there? Because I kind of know it, but don't totally know it.
So defensive tackle, maybe a top 4 guy on Kiper and McShay's board.
Yeah, some people think he's the best player.
Yeah.
There's always the quarterbacks and stuff like that, but he's the best player in the draft.
Now, he was involved in the fatal crash that killed a teammate and a member of the team. Not a coach, but like a
Like staff,
Yeah, staff. Thank
maybe
you,
like
staff.
a
Remember
student assistant or something like that,
I,
grad assistant.
when I first read it, I thought he was driving, but they were racing.
But he wasn't driving the car.
I don't know, but I don't. But
I
I
know they
also,
were racing.
but I also don't know if he was racing at the time where the accident occurred either. It's very gray area here.
Yeah, there's not a lot of details. I feel like.
So
That's why I asked you.
They dismiss him from the combine, and then they do their due diligence, and then they invite him back.
Oh, okay.
So he kind of got lucky. So for those who don't know, the combine is very regimented. It's very organized. He was very lucky that they didn't really go through the defensive lineman yet, like interviews and drills. So he just did the weightlifting and so then he got invited back for the next day so he can partake in all that stuff.
Wow. Okay.
But dude, it is very. I got to tell you though, this screams Laremy Tunsil to me.
Right. So this is where it becomes interesting. Not so much the combine itself with this particular kid, but certainly the draft itself and the fact that you're saying about how there's not a lot of details on the situation. That's what we have. I'm sure the teams in the NFL are way more involved and inside on what's going on there. That doesn't mean they have all the facts because, listen, innocent until proven guilty. That's just the way it works. The question becomes, there were talk about him being the number one pick in the draft. Like the Bears would consider taking him because they were, it seems like they're going to roll with Justin Fields here. A mistake in my opinion, but that doesn't matter. But I don't think that's going to happen now unless something just radically changes before the draft, because I just don't think you can use that high a draft pick on a potential someone who can be convicted of homicide.
Right.
I don't think that looks good for your organization, right? But so
yeah, you know who takes a guy like this? Belichick, Andy Reid.
Well, I was going to say I'm down here in South Jersey, which is a lot of like Eagles country.
Yeah.
And I think if I'm not mistaken, I think they're picking at 10. It must have been some trade where they got the 10th pick or something like that. And it was like, could he fall to 10? You figured there's going to be at least 3 quarterbacks. Well, I shouldn't say there could be 3, maybe even 4 quarterbacks. And we'll get to the quarterbacks in a minute, but there could be 4 quarterbacks going to top 10, which leaves 6 other people. If you're like the 3rd or 4th, I still don't think you're taking him. But if he drops to 10 and you're the Eagles, do you take a chance? Do you roll the dice?
Steps right in for Fletcher Cox.
Oh my goodness. This is where it becomes, at what point does it become, okay to take a run at a guy who's got some serious baggage, like potentially serious baggage? And that's the question, right? For every organization. I mean, even for the top picks, like the really, really top picks, like, are you really not willing to take a shot, or are you willing to take a shot? And it's not so much take a shot, take the heat. Think of the Cleveland Browns and the heat they've taken for signing Deshaun Watson. Like, and now are you going to be the team that says like, hey, hold my beer? Like, we're going to take a homicide, a guy who committed homicide or at least participated in it. Like, wow, that's just so, but he's so damn good. Like, that's the part that makes it so bananas. You know what I mean? It's like, do you have an idea? Like, if you were just to scan over the draft, don't even think, like, not even teams per se. I mean, you make a good point. The coaches matter, right? If you have like an experienced coach that has a history of Andy Reid, you make a great point right there, because he has a history of giving guys second chances and helping them out and working out. Belichick also. But just as far as numbers, like how deep do you think he could fall just because of the situation? Like, if he gets to 10, do you really still not take him?
Laremy Tunsil, I think, went like 16, 14.
And what was his thing, though? The weed gas
mask weed, yeah.
How far did he fall?
I think to the mid-teens, I think.
Okay. It doesn't really matter exactly where. The point is,
I don't think he falls out of the first round.
No, I can't imagine that. But there is a point where the teams just go,
yeah, definitely, no doubt about it.
They kind of shrug your shoulders and just go, we'll take a little heat. But here's the thing: like, after a certain point in draft, like it's less. Listen, you fuck up the first pick, if you fuck up a top 10 pick, as a GM. Your job is on the line. I mean, think how great a job Joe Douglas has done in the draft. And his job is on the line right now because of one thing and one thing only, and that's Zach Wilson, right? Because he was top 10. If they picked Zach Wilson at 15, it's not like that. It's not the same. It's not the same story. So that's the whole thing. Do you want to put your job on the line? This is why we're even discussing Aaron Rodgers to the Jets. This is not a Joe Douglas move normally because he's a rental. He's a 1, maybe 2 years. I don't know what they talked to him about in California over the weekend, but your job is now on the line. This is what people forget sometimes when they're like, why would they do this? Because they got to win games now or else he's going to be out of a job. I mean, he's trying to keep his job just as much as Zach Wilson trying to keep his and Robert Saleh's trying to keep his. Like, everybody wants to keep their job, you know? So that's part of it. And that's what the question becomes, like, does this guy potentially cost you your job? Or does he cost you your job if you don't take him? That's when it gets really it's crazy, right?
Well, listen,
like you don't take him, you're the Eagles, and you don't take him at 10, and somebody takes him at 12.
Yeah.
And then he's like defensive rookie of the year. He gets absolved of any charges. It's like, you could have taken him. Didn't you do your due diligence?
That's a big thing, dude. You want to find out, you want to get this thing over it before the draft if you can. Like,
now, sure, they got a couple months, right? Like the draft is some point in May.
Late April, yeah.
Late April this year? Okay. So you got some time, but these guys, these guys are working the phones and talking to lawyers and doing what they got to do because he's just that good a player. Anyway, I have a list of quarterbacks. I got 5 here. There's others, but these are like top 5. And I have them in order. Do you want to hear this list?
These are the guys coming out of the draft?
These are the guys that are going to be in the draft.
Well, I would say.
Who do you think I have as number 1?
I think you got Young at number 1.
I do not.
Richardson?
No.
You can't have Stroud.
I do.
Oh.
Now, let me preface this. I know. Let me preface this. There's nobody in this draft this year that doesn't have some kind of question mark.
Right.
Okay. There's no like purities. Even with Zach Wilson, there weren't a lot of question marks other than his size. I was a little concerned about him being a little undersized, but that was about it for me. That's not the case here.
Now if you could take that back.
Ooh, I have more questions now. Although, like I told you, I still haven't given up on him. I haven't, because I don't think he's Johnny Manziel. But that's for another day. I have CJ Stroud as the number 1. And here's the only reason that I even have a question mark next to him is because of what you just said. Ohio State quarterbacks. And it's more about Ohio State wide receivers who are so goddamn good. People don't even realize, correct me if I'm wrong, Smith and Jigba, or Jigma Smith, however the hell you say his name.
Smith and Jigba.
Yeah, there you go. Didn't he have more yards than both Olave and Wilson the year they were all 3 of them on the team?
Correct.
He ended up and he barely played this year.
Yeah, he played like 2 minutes.
They got so many wide receivers there. Guys that just come buck ass open all the time. This was the Justin Fields problem, that his first read was always open or open often enough that he could just throw it and the guy goes and he's that much open. So there is that part of it. But having watched him and watched some film, he's not Justin Fields. This guy can read the field. This guy can read defenses. He can come off of first and second reads. Like, I've seen him do it. And he showed in the Georgia game that he's more mobile than we thought.
Right.
He's also 6'3", about 225, so he's not small. So the only question for me with him, his arm is not the strongest in the world. It's not a bad arm, but it's not the strongest in the world. He's not going to have one of the strongest arms coming in. I don't know if he's not even top 3 or 4. He's not even top 3, top 4. He's the 4th at best. But it's not weak. It's enough. It's enough. And just the idea of coming at it at Ohio State offense. He's not Justin Fields. I'm telling everybody right now, he's not Justin Fields. He's better. He's a better quarterback. I don't know if he's a better thrower. But he's a better quarterback than Justin Fields was coming out of Ohio State. But I am concerned about the whole wide receiver thing. It's certainly a problem. Who's my second guy?
Young.
Nope.
Levis?
Yes.
Oh, dude, you're like...
I love Will Levis. My one question mark, my one concern with him is accuracy. Will Levis is the 2023 version of oh my god, I just had his name. I'm drawing a blank. Out of Vanderbilt, played for Denver.
Cutler.
Jay Cutler. Let me give you an example. As a player, not as a personality. Nobody's like Jay Cutler as a personality. Don't
No.
worry. Don't worry about that. Whoever drafts Will Levis, he's a good kid. You're an SEC quarterback, big, strong arm, physical, very mobile. None of his receivers will be in the NFL. But he was throwing
Correct.
against NFL corners and defensive backs. Alabama, Tennessee, Auburn, Georgia. And he still had an over 60% completion percentage. And he also falls very much in the Josh Allen realm, where he played better as a junior because he had better receivers as a junior. Same with Will Levis. Had better receivers as a junior, put up better numbers as a junior. Those guys all graduated. They're gone. None of them are in the NFL anyway. So that's why.
Actually, one of them is Wan'Dale Robinson from the Giants.
Okay, one of them. So that's why he's an SEC player without SEC players around him, throwing into smaller windows, playing well, winning games. Like, that's why. Big, strong, doing well against SEC teams without high-quality SEC players. So that's why for me. Bryce Young is my third. He's just too small, dude. Do you want to go through this Kyler Murray thing again? I don't. Like, he's probably an upgrade for a lot of teams, but how long do you have him? How many games is he going to play every year? He's already shown a history of getting hurt. And that was at Alabama.
That's insulting to Young that you compare him to Kyler Murray. That little fuck.
They're literally the exact same size.
No, I meant personality-wise.
No, I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
Bryce Young is a great kid.
Yeah,
he's
definitely
a great kid. So if you're Houston, maybe the Colts, I get it. But he's not my first pick. Like if you're the Colts, and they certainly are probably going to draft a quarterback, and Stroud and Levis are on the board, I'm not taking Young. I'm taking one of those two. I just want someone who's going to be in it for the long run. I just don't think he can hold up 17 games, 2 preseason games against NFL players. It's just it's just not going to survive.
What do they have, the second pick?
Who?
Colts?
I'm not sure.
The third. What, Houston, Chicago?
You're the one with the little mini smart machine over there. You're the research guy.
Yeah,
come on, look that up.
We just did this. Fuck.
Who's my number 4? I'm gonna blow your mind.
Well, I know you like the kid from Stanford.
Nope, not my number 4.
You're gonna blow my mind. It's not Sean Clifford.
He was a Heisman candidate at one point.
Give me a Heisman candidate. Give me a conference.
SEC.
Oh, Mr. Hooker.
Hendon Hooker is my number 4. I have no idea other than the fact. All right, so I have an idea. I know exactly why. Tore his ACL, and he tore his ACL, or he break his foot or ankle.
I think ACL.
It was the ACL.
Yeah,
and he's also like 75 years old, right? Like he's like 25.
Well, that's the problem. Yeah.
But there's no question you can get him for 10 years. Who's looking past 10 years?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everyone's looking past 10 years.
Everyone's got to stop with this Brady shit. It's like,
oh my God, come on. What are we talking about here? Okay. He's a better passer than Richardson. He's just as mobile, clearly a better leader. He had Tennessee like in the national championship up until week 10. Hello. He had a Heisman moment against Alabama where he made a beautiful pass. I think it was 4th down. Or third and really long, third and like 17 to get a first down and get into field goal range to kick a winning field goal. It was 4th down?
No, Colts have 4th pick.
Colts have the 4th pick. Okay. I don't know why anybody. I don't understand the whole. Lamar Jackson is 26 years old right now. You wouldn't take him?
Right.
I mean, what are we talking about?
And you get him cheaper now. Then you can get Lamar.
You get a cheaper version, right?
Yeah.
So, and I'm just not going to listen to the idea that the ACL is going to hold him back athletically. It doesn't for anybody anymore. They got this shit down pat so well that these guys come back and they're fine. Plus, he doesn't have to be a thoroughbred. He's a great passer of the football. Like, he really can sling it. This is not Lamar where we look at him as a run first, pass second. He can chuck it, man.
Right.
He can really friggin' sling it. So he's my third. And then I have Richardson fifth. I'm sorry. Everybody can, stroke themselves over this kid because of what they saw at the combine. And believe me, I mean, he is chiseled out of granite, 40-inch vertical leap. Like, everything he did was bananas. He just flicks the ball and it's gone. He's a specimen, but he's not a middle linebacker. He's a fucking quarterback.
You loved him week 1. You're like, oh, Heisman.
Because he played a monster game against Utah, right? But guess what he did against Florida State? He went 9 of 22 and was bad. So, this is where I go back to what I opened the show with today by saying, is the combine useful? Yeah, it's useful. And it certainly helped Anthony Richardson, but it shouldn't supersede what you've seen all season. Plus the fact he's only got like 12 starts. I remember it was last year, the previous season, not this past season, previous season. I think it was Dan Orlovsky was like, saw him play in one of the games, was like, why isn't this guy starting? Hey, Dan, you're on ESPN. Why don't you ask the fucking coach? Because there's a goddamn reason that they won't start like Andrew Luck over here. Like, he's so big and strong. Maybe the coach has a reason that they won't play him. So that has concerns. Just that part alone. Why weren't they playing this kid? It tells me something that the coaches saw or didn't see or didn't like.
New staff.
And then then all you got to do is look at the game film, dude. He's average. He's a 53% completion percentage guy.
Oh, I want no part of him. No.
Come on.
Who else was who was the combine thing last year? Thrill, and then he dropped. Malik Willis. It's
correct.
You're high, and then you have 2 months to like.
Dude, it's embarrassing. If you watch Tennessee at all this year, it's embarrassing. The one game, I think they let him throw the ball 9 times.
Oh, it's bad. He's bad.
Like, it's unbelievable. Bobby Mack chiming in.
Mac, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. 100 episodes. Unbelievable. Thank you for that.
And now that we're on the topic, you just answered one of my questions with Richardson. That's good. The Bears.
Yes.
Do they trade their pick? Do they trade Fields, or do they stay where they are?
Listen. You know me very well in this matter. I am not a Fields guy. Plus, here's the other side of it. You have a relatively new coach. You have a coach and a GM that didn't pick Justin Fields. I would trade him, and I would take a quarterback in this pick. I would take a Will Levis. I would take a CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud played right down the street at Ohio State. He knows how to play in cold weather. You don't have to worry about that. He knows how to play in front of hostile crowds. You don't have to worry about that. And he's cheaper. You reset the clock. People don't like to hear that, but you reset the clock. Do you know, right? Justin Fields is 2 years in. He's in his 3rd year coming up. You're going to have to decide at the end of this season whether or not to offer him that 5th-year option. Do you know that you want to do that? He lost 10 straight games last year. He had like a 55% completion percentage. He had multiple games under 150 yards passing. Like, he had a game under 100 yards passing. Like, come on, man. I would move him if I could. I don't know if they can. I don't think people talk, anybody would want him. I don't know that anybody wants him. I'm sorry. People don't want your problems. This is like selling a used car from home. Like, you're buying someone else's problem. There's a reason they're selling. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason they're selling. But if I'm the Bears, if I could find a buyer, absolutely, I would do it. Yeah, I would definitely do it.
The Rams look like they're going to cut Jalen Ramsey.
I hear they're a little wishy-washy on that, though.
Yeah,
they're a little. Because I heard yesterday they were maybe considering. That's a tough one, but I don't think here's the thing: if he was willing to restructure his contract, I'm sure they would prefer to keep him.
Yeah,
maybe
I heard that too.
Maybe from when that story first came out in the last couple of days, maybe they talked a little bit, and maybe he's willing to at least restructure a little.
Same thing with Chiefs and Frank Clark. They cut him, but I think he's looking to come back on.
Probably bring him right back.
Yeah, on a better deal.
This is the problem. This is the problem when you have a quarterback who's making a shit ton of money, and frankly. Patrick Mahomes is a steal for what he brings to the table. Dude. It's a bargain to get him at $40 million, but still, it's 40.
He's making the same amount as Danny Jones.
It's insane. But that deal was signed 2 years ago. That's why it's a bargain. You project forward on a 10-year deal. It's a bargain. But
why don't we go segue right there, Mr. Max on the line? Danny Jones, 4 years.
I saw this
at $40 million apiece. They're working away. They're working away to sign Barkley, I think, before next week.
I thought they were going to franchise tag him.
They did, but they can still work out a deal in the meantime.
Okay. I think this was a mistake.
I'm a fan of Danny Jones. $40 million is a humongous question mark. Listen, to be fair to Dable and Shane, they didn't know how he was going to do with this system. You know what? And
well, sure.
And he did well, but just to think,
Okay.
if you tag him last year,
why don't you just tag him now? Why don't you do exactly what the Baltimore Ravens did with Lamar Jackson, which I'm sure we'll get to in a minute? Why not just do a non-exclusive tag so that if somebody else wants to offer him something, they can offer it, and then they got to give up 2 first-round picks?
You're right. They should have done that. You're right.
Or you could just match. So if somebody offers him 35, you can match it. The current team has the right to match it, or take the 2 picks.
Yeah.
If you're the fucking Giants, why wouldn't you take the 2 picks? First of all, the rest of your team sucks. It was a goddamn miracle. It was a goddamn miracle they did as well as they did. Is Daniel Jones your savior? I don't know, man. That seems absurd. If the Ravens aren't willing to sign Lamar Jackson to that kind of number, why the hell would the Giants sign Daniel Jones to $42 million? Why wouldn't they do the exact same thing and just match whatever anybody else puts on the table? That's so. I'll just to clarify what I'm saying. Baltimore Ravens put a non-exclusive. So there's 2 franchise tags you can put for those who are listening. There's 2 franchise tags you can put on a player. You can put an exclusive or non-exclusive. Exclusive is more expensive, but nobody else can touch the guy. So if they put an exclusive tag on Lamar Jackson, I think it would have cost them $37 million or something like that. But he's theirs for the year. Like nobody can touch him. You put a non-exclusive tag, it's less expensive. So I think this year would be $32 million. But other teams can talk to the player and make an offer. And if then let's just try to do it as an example. Let's say the Jets were to offer him $37 million or $40 million a year for 4 years. The Ravens now have the option of matching the contract or accepting 2 number 1 draft picks from the Jets. That becomes their choice. So what I'm saying is, why wouldn't the Giants do the same? Daniel Jones isn't anywhere as valuable as Lamar Jackson, and they're almost the same goddamn age. That's what I don't get. Like what? Now, granted, if you really look at the details of the contract, it's a 2-year, $82 million contract because that's what's guaranteed. They could cut him after 2 years.
Yeah,
and it won't cost them really anything. But still, I just, be a little more savvy about it. See, this is the difference. You're looking at Baltimore, who is a well-run organization and has been for 2 decades, and maybe longer, and the Giants, who have new leadership, new GM. I don't know. Did they panic a little here? You think they panicked a little?
Panic's a strong word.
Who else was going to give him that kind of money? You're bidding against yourself.
Listen, I agree with you guys too. I think like you would have better off giving Saquon a 3-year deal and tagging Jones if that's what you want to do, because I think they're good together. But the running back thing is also iffy this day and age because Zeke's a mess now, and their Cowboys are.
Oh, totally.
Man, I don't think they panic because I think they have a game plan. But $40 million, dude. Whew.
This is what I'm saying. Who are you? You're bidding against yourself, though. That's the only thing. I don't think there was a lot of teams out there. You tell me who was going to give Daniel Jones anything north of $35 million. Who was going to do that?
You don't think Carolina was in there, do you?
More than 35? I think they might have played the game, but then, but here's the thing. Then Carolina would have had to cough up 2 first-round picks. I don't think anybody would have played that.
That's true.
I don't think anybody would do that. So,
and let's go right there. Lamar Jackson tagged. I got to tell you, I think this is going to be sloppy this year with the Ravens and him. I don't think they're pleased with him. I don't think again, they had no other options either. Even with Mr. Pro Bowl Tyler Huntley.
I thought about that. I was listening to the radio on the way here, and I'm like, they're saying like, "Wait, you're gonna be stuck with Tyler Huntley?" And I'm like, he was a Pro Bowler, 7th round pick in the Pro Bowl. But oh my god,
the Harbaugh brothers are eat, sleep, drink football, and I don't think a guy that sat out the end of the year and doesn't have an agent and all the other shit that Lamar's been doing, I don't think this is gonna end too well, bro. That's just my opinion, but. That division's pretty good. So
I think it was a brilliant move by the Ravens. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I haven't seen in recent memory, I can't remember any teams doing this non-exclusive tag. Do you?
No.
Washington didn't do it with Kirk Cousins.
Nope.
I'm trying to think like it doesn't happen all the time. Usually you either let your guy go
because it's so steep. It's like
yeah. But I think it's a brilliant move. This is a really well-run organization that always drafts well. If somebody were to take them off your hand, they have to cough up 2 first-round picks. You can either use one of those picks or use both yours and their pick to move up to get a quarterback, or you could wait till next year till there's new, 2 really high-end quarterbacks coming out next year.
Caleb.
The fact of the matter is, whatever you want to say about Lamar Jackson, whatever you think of him, MVP, led the league in touchdowns. That was 3 years ago, folks. He's missed 10 games in the last 2 years, and both of those were to end the season. Didn't make the playoffs. They might have made the play. Did they make the playoffs last year, but then lost? Or did they not make the playoffs the last 2 years? Because he missed the end of the season last year too.
I don't think they made it last year either.
Yeah, 2 years in a row you don't make the playoffs.
And the year before that, they lost to the Titans at home. They got embarrassed. Remember?
Was that the year before?
I think so. Yeah.
I thought they won 1 game, 1 play. He's got 1 playoff. Oh,
maybe
3 losses.
Maybe they did. Maybe
anyway, you can't keep. This is like the old Cam Newton conversation when people used to say, "Like, he was a league MVP and went to a Super Bowl." Dude, that was 5 years ago. What are we talking about? Have you seen him play lately? Now, that's not the same thing with Lamar Jackson. He's played well when he's played. But in the last 22 games, he's missed 10 games. Like, that's not good.
No.
Availability is the best ability. Like, you got to be on the field. Don't tell me how good he is if he's sitting on the bench. Kyler Murray isn't helping the Arizona Cardinals come this fall because he's not going to be playing. Doesn't matter how much he changes his attitude. It won't matter. He's not playing. So it doesn't matter. So that's why I say, like, got to be really careful. And that's why I think it's a brilliant move by Baltimore. Because if somebody's willing to take him, and you asked, I had a question for you that we're going to get to in a minute, and you're going to say, Pete's a total hypocrite. Wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's your MO on this show.
Yeah. If somebody's willing to take him and you get 2 first-round picks, this is a good organization. They'll draft well. They'll come up with something. This is an organization that won a Super Bowl with Trent Dilfer. This is an organization that won a Super Bowl with
Joe
Flacco. They know what they're doing and they know how to build teams here. Okay. And they have other people to lean on that they talk to help build their team. So if this was the Jets, I would say they don't know what the hell they're doing. But this is not the Jets. And as much as I don't necessarily love, the Ravens, they're one of those teams I always root to lose.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing. So I'm going to trust them. I'm going to trust them on this one. And so here's the other thing. You had some other teams that were coming out immediately saying that they're not interested. They're not interested. We're off the board. You would never have that if Lamar Jackson had a real agent. Why? Because you got guys on your team that had that same agent and you're not trying to piss anybody else off. The problem with being your own agent is that there's nobody else to piss off. It's just you.
Yeah.
So they don't care. They do not care. And then the other thing that came up was collusion. Like, the owners are colluding against Lamar Jackson. No, each owner is making a decision saying, that's a too steep a price and I don't want a guy that's missed 10 games. Besides the fact, that's been 5 teams. You don't know what the other teams are saying. You don't know what the Jets are thinking right now. Okay, which is something we're going to get to here. You don't know what Atlanta, even though they said we're probably not, you don't know what they're going to do. You don't know what Houston's going to do. You don't know what Chicago's going to do. Your rumors swirling left and right about a straight up trade Justin Fields for Lamar Jackson. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what every team. So it's not collusion, okay? When 5 teams out of 32 come out and say, no, thank you. That's not collusion. So that's that.
Matthew Stafford's elbow still cranky. Rumors have it.
This is
Does,
unbelievable.
does Baker stay there?
Does Baker stay there? Does Stafford retire? This
Yeah.
is another thing that's been in the air. I don't think that's going to happen. But this has been this is 2 years going now, right?
Yes, sir.
This little issue with, and it has not, correct me if I'm wrong. It has not been surgically repaired, right? It's just been rest.
I think rest. Yes.
So that's an interesting one because this is the third year in a row that this has been going on.
And
Now,
remember,
granted, the first year that it happened, they ended up coming in and winning a Super Bowl. So he's been okay with it before.
And McVay's been contemplating leaving there, and he decided to come back. And
yeah, which is why I put them in my championship sphere, because I think they're going to make one more bold run at a title, and then I think you're probably looking at the end of Stafford and McVay at the same time.
yeah,
so we'll see about that. I texted you earlier in the week that I was very upset that my heart was crushed.
I was going right here now. Yep.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead, buddy.
Unfortunately, Derek Carr. This is who I wanted for the Jets. Derek Carr. He signs. What was it? What the hell was the contract? 4 years, 150 million, 100.
Yeah, what is it? Would they give him 35 a year? 30, 34?
It ends up being 35 a year. Whatever. Do the math yourself. But yeah, I was a little upset. Frankly, I get it and I don't get it. I don't think it's a really great fit. I think the Jets were a better fit, but I also think it's a savvy decision, considering the rest of that division that they're in. He goes to New Orleans. He's instantly the best quarterback in the division. When it's Kyle Trask, Sam Darnold, and
Desmond Ridder.
Desmond Ridder with Atlanta. Oh, who's the best? It's like he just guaranteed himself a first round, at the very least, a first round home game, because they're going to win their division. I mean, come on, they're going to win their division by default. So, you know where my pick's going to be come August when we sign up for the divisions, right? Like who's going to be
Carolina, because Pete's always a hypocrite.
they're picking Will Levis. That might change my mind, but yeah, I was sad about that. And then, you speak about panic before. Now, the Jets are probably panicking their asses off because, and they jumped on a jet to go see Aaron Rodgers out in California, met with him. We'll see what comes of that. I'm hearing all day today, and that's including Adam Schefter, that while there's work to be done, everyone's interested. Rodgers is interested. Obviously, the Jets are interested, and Green Bay's on board. So, there's a lot to be worked out here, though, dude.
What's the price tag that you got to give up for him?
I will tell you what I saw today is that there is no number one picks involved.
Wow.
Which, if that is true, I can't imagine that's true. But if that is true, then I'm on board. I'm on board. If you don't have to give up a number one pick for him, I'm on board. Even though we know at most it's 3 years. I can't imagine it's 3 years, but at most it's 3, more likely 2. Possibly just 1. So,
well, dude, like we've talked about for 2 years now, this guy is such a wild card, dude. You don't know what he's going to wake up on.
That's why I didn't want him.
It's
the season. Let's say he comes to the Jets. The season ends next year, and we're in the same position as we are. What's the date? It's the 9th of March, and you and I, March of 9, 2024, and you and I are going to be sitting here wondering if Aaron Rodgers is going to play in 2024. It's going to be the same spot.
I know.
That's a guarantee. Now, he might. And again, you know what? Who knows what Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh and Rodgers talked about? Hey, can we get a 2-year commitment from you? No questions asked, unless there's some kind of calamity that happens physically or something like that. Like, fucking Joe Theismann's his leg or something. I don't know.
Oh, no.
All right, I don't want to jinx him. But other than that, can we get a guarantee in 2 years?
Jets, that would be the Jets in a nutshell, wouldn't it?
Don't do that. Don't talk about it. I take it back.
You talked about it.
Said it. Can we delete that? We're going to delete that from the podcast. I'm deleting that.
Man,
Stop it. Walk away.
Our buddy Mike, the Jet guy, is probably throwing shit right now.
Oh my God, he's ready to kill me. Yeah, he's ready to kill me.
All right, a couple of things for you.
Yeah.
What's your backup plan if he says no thanks?
My next one, I have 2. Garoppolo would be my first choice, and you're not even going to believe what I'm going to say now. Baker Mayfield.
He might be a Ram.
He might be, but I'm just saying That's what I'm going. I'm offering him 2 years, 40 million.
Holy shit.
Gap quarterback. Now it gives you a couple years, it gives you a year or so to work with Zach. Also gives you a chance to you can draft another quarterback along the way. He's a free agent, so you don't have to give up anything. Listen, we look at it as a gap quarterback. He's not the solution, but you got to have somebody under center. And what I will say, and we talked about this last year when the Rams picked him up, he looked like he ate a little humble pie. He in a short amount of time and not a lot of practices, played pretty well with a skeleton receivers crew with the Rams. Like, I thought he played pretty well at the end of the year last year. Not a lot of turnovers, pretty decent completion percentage, no Cooper Kupp, no Jefferson. Like, he was missing a bunch of guys and still played okay. I would be willing to give him like a 2-year, I don't know the numbers, $35, $40 million over those 2 years, or 1 year with a team option or something. However do you want to do, I give him 2 years, configure it however the hell you want to configure it. I don't fucking know, but that's what I would do. It would give me some time with Zach. It would give me some time if they're done with Zach, it gives you some time to reevaluate the draft coming up and next year's draft, whatever. So it's certainly not a long-term solution, but neither is Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is more of a win now solution, where Baker would then be a gap quarterback solution.
Next question. Rodgers comes here, Wilson's gone.
I don't know that that's true.
Anybody else comes here, Wilson stays?
I don't know that that's true. I don't think so. I really don't think so. And I don't see why the Jets would do that. He's cheap. I don't even know if he cost him $10 million this year.
He sucks.
He sucked this year. He sucked. And late more than early. I still think there's something there. I really do. But we saw what we saw.
All of a sudden you hang yourself on that one.
Because what are you going to do? You're going to cut him, and then who are you bringing in? Teddy Bridgewater? Is that better?
I bring in Andy Dalton. I bring in a couple guys.
Andy Dalton's going to cost you north of $10 million. He's not taking less than $10 million.
Neither's Baker. You just gave Baker $20 million.
Andy Dalton, I know, but he's going to be the starter. Are you talking Andy Dalton as a starter?
Yeah, if you with everybody else.
No, okay, that's different. I would consider that too. That's the same. To me, that's the same as taking Baker. Like, it's a 1 or 2 year gap quarterback. You're saying get rid of Zach. I'm not getting rid of Zach no matter who. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying no matter who. I thought you were saying bringing Andy Dalton as a backup. No. Yeah, if you brought in Andy Dalton I'm not getting rid of Zach. Why would I? He's cheap, and okay. I'm trying to look at it from
you got to extend them or not.
Yes, right? Absolutely. I'm trying to look at it from a GM, owner
angle.
Perspective.
Yeah.
You have no like rush to make a decision on him. Why get rid of him? He's cheap. That
makes sense.
And why not find out what, come OTAs, summer, once camp breaks, why not find out if he's put in any work over the winter? You know what I mean? I told you the stories that I heard about him driving from Utah down to San Diego to work with a quarterback's coach. Like, that impressed me. That shows me that he's not Johnny Manziel, that he was willing to put in the work. So why can't we assume that he's going to put in the work over the winter, over the course of this off season, and maybe he comes back and straightens out all the shit that was a mess, because there were some things that were a mess. But I'm going to give him a chance to do that. I'm certainly going to give him a chance to do that. And at worst, he's my backup. So what? Is he worse than Joe Flacco? Like, who else you getting as a backup? That's the thing. And once you're down to your backup anyway, you're kind of fucked. I mean, you're going to keep Mike White? I don't know.
Question. Yeah, that's an option too, I guess. But what do you pick? An 18?
I think 13.
Will Levis there at 13.
Fuck you. There's no doubt about it.
Oh my God.
You got Will Levis at 13, and then I cut Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
Or trade him or whatever.
No, no one's gonna.
I don't care what they do at that point. So here's the other thing, just so you know, first round draft pick, rookie contract, your first 3 years are guaranteed. It might be your first 4 years. I'm not 100% sure on that. I know it's guaranteed. I
First
just don't
round
know if
pick?
it's 3. Yeah.
4.
So they're going to pay him no matter what.
Yeah.
That's the problem. So you got to try to trade him, you know. But if Will Levis is there, oh my God, dude, come on. That card will be in before what's his face even steps off the stage from the previous pick. What the Goodell? You kidding me? Absolutely.
You have any more football?
I have my one question for you.
Oh, please.
Okay, so obviously the Jets are doing the dance with Aaron Rodgers. But yet on the other side, March 15th is the official like date, I guess you'd say, like cuts and free agency and all that kind of stuff. Would you rather you're going to have to give up something for Rodgers. It doesn't look like at the very least it's one first round pick, not 2. But would you rather have Aaron Rodgers for say like a 1 and a 4 or a 2 and a 3? Or would you rather have Lamar Jackson for 2 1s?
Am I getting Rodgers for 2 years?
Let's just say yes. You're getting him. Because I have to believe when they went out to California, they wanted some kind of assurance that they're not going to do this dance again next year if they were to sign him. At least give us 2 years. We're giving up a lot. Give us at least guarantee. Can you not guarantee us, but can you give us 2 years? Can you promise us 2 years?
How much money am I giving Lamar?
Dude, he wants guaranteed money. It sounds like I think the number
Watson,
that
he wants Watson money, right?
I think he wants 200 north of 230 million, and you got to guarantee
it
all.
I take Rodgers, and easy answer for me.
Okay.
I don't like Lamar. Listen, Rodgers isn't exactly Mr. Rodgers, no pun intended, but
no.
Lamar, the last 2 years, the quitting thing I don't love, the no agent thing I don't love. His legs are gonna fall apart at some point if they're not already. No thanks. Plus future picks, plus money. No, Rodgers definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Here's Pete the hypocrite. Here it comes.
I love it.
This guy has no pride. I'm going with Lamar. Here's the deal I'm offering though. I'm not offering the Deshaun Watson deal. I'm going 3 years, 150 with a 4th year team option for 45, non-guaranteed. So it's a team option anyway. So it's 4 years, 195, 150 of it guaranteed. So you have to give up. Here's why I'm saying that. You're guaranteed to have Lamar for 3 years.
He won't take that. No way.
Why? He's getting his $50 million a year guaranteed for 3 instead of 5.
Well, what's Watson getting? 5?
Yeah, but it's not quite 50 million average.
Yeah,
it's a little south of that. But here's why for the Jets, I would probably pull the trigger on this. 2 first-round picks this year, next year. Well, you have your quarterback for this year and next year, so it's not like you have to draft a quarterback with those 2 first-round picks. So by the time his contract is up, you'll have first-round picks again. Because of the injuries and because he's an aging running quarterback, I don't want the contract to go too long. So that's why I'm 3 years guaranteed, 1 year team option. However that works, a 4-year 195 with 3, with 150 guaranteed, 150 sign-in bonus, I guess they call that.
Yeah.
Why do I do this? If I'm Baltimore, I don't. But Baltimore has a track record and a history of success. The Jets haven't made the playoffs since I think 2010, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right.
It would be really fucking nice to go 3 straight years. What's the one thing I've been consistent about since the beginning of this fucking podcast about Lamar Jackson? What do I say every time?
You're never going to win the Super Bowl, but you'll be in the playoffs every year.
You're going to win 10 games every year. You're going to, and now with 17 games, you're going to win 10 and a half games every year. I'm sorry.
Unless he's not on the field.
I get it. But I'm sorry. I would love to win 10 or 11 games every year for the next 3, maybe 4 years.
And have a Sunday night home playoff game. Oh, Peter, look at you.
Thank you. Come on, don't you want to see Week 17, New York Jets versus Buffalo Bills, Lamar Jackson at home against Josh Allen?
It would be nice. It would for your sake. It would be nice, dude. Honestly.
So so this is the difference. The Jets are not a Super Bowl organization. You're trying to create that. You're trying to create that kind of culture, but you have to be a winner before you can be a champion. And they're losers.
All right.
We are losers. So I would like to start by winning. Let's start winning as an organization, and then we could talk Super Bowl. I don't want to talk Super Bowl right now. We haven't made a playoffs in 13 years.
You're trying to create a winning culture, but there's not a lot of wide receivers that want to come play with this guy.
You already have them, and they're on rookie contracts. And you have a nice tight end, and you have a nice running back.
You're minutes away from cutting the kid from Ole Miss this year. What's his name?
I was not happy with him. He was being a little asshole. That's for sure. He was being a little asshole. Like, where do you get off, dude? You got like 9 catches in 2 years. Right. But I think Elijah Moore has a lot of talent. I think he could be used. Obviously, Garrett Wilson is good.
Yeah.
That's clear. Offensive rookie of the year. They have two nice tight ends. Obviously, Breece Hall, and everything I'm hearing is he's going to be ready by the start of the season. So the weapons are there. He doesn't get to use the old, I don't have a weapons excuse anymore. And it would just be fun. It would be fun. It would be fun and cool to be a Jets fan. I always got to listen to these Steelers fans like, oh, we're always winning. We never lose. And it's great. Super Bowls. And fuck you. Like, I would like to just be a winner for a little while.
Somewhere right now, Steve Savali's smiling.
I would like to know what that feels like for a couple minutes, for Christ's sake. You know what I mean? So that's why I would do it. I would pull the trigger. It's going to cost you, and you're gonna suffer in other positions, because that's like 23% of the salary cap. It's bananas. But you have so many young players on this team. I think they can pull it off. And you still have the draft to build the line, bring in some free agents, that kind of stuff. So defense is solid. The defense is set. You know, you need a quarterback and a couple offensive linemen, and this team is ready to roll. I'm not saying they'll win the Super Bowl, but I think with Lamar Jackson and a couple other pieces on the offensive line, they're a 10-win, 11-win team. And I'll take it. I'll take that right now.
All right, last question for you.
Go ahead.
Is the reason why you chose Lamar is because all the shit you talked about Aaron Rodgers for 2.5 years, and you're trying to stay away from being a hypocrite?
No. It's because I don't. Well, I'm already being a hypocrite because I'm taking Lamar Jackson.
I didn't mean add on more.
Yeah. No, it's because I'm guaranteeing I'm getting more time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So with Aaron Rodgers, you're probably going to be giving up picks in this draft and next year's draft, which means I won't be able to pick again until like a first rounder or something. Like, you know what I mean? And he'll be gone. Whereas with Lamar Jackson, this year, next year, give a first round pick. He's still on the team the following year when I have another first round pick.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean? Yep. So I'll be able to use that on defense, on linemen, on whatever we need at the time. And then following year, then you can start looking for a quarterback again.
I lied. One more question.
Hey, and by the way, that 4th year, think 3 years is a long time for guys in the NFL and a quarterback. Who knows what kind of physical changes Lamar Jackson goes through. So he may not be the same player 3 years from now, and might be more than happy to take that 4th year, you know, as a team option. Like, he might be fine with that. You know, you got your 150 in the bag, and, you know, you'll take less in that 4th year. So he may want to just stay and everything's okay. But you don't worry about that as the Jets. Right. You want these 3 years. Next 3 years. By the way, the next 3 years is when you have Garrett Wilson signed, you have Elijah Moore signed, you have these guys signed on rookie contracts. So you can have an expensive quarterback.
You're salivating right now. You can't even.
I know. I'm talking myself right into it. Meanwhile, they're gonna have Baker Mayfield.
One more. They're gonna have Sam Darnold back.
They have Sam Darnold.
One more question.
Yeah.
Any part of you nervous about the Favre, same age?
No.
Gets hurt.
Different guys.
Okay.
I don't like it because I don't like it. It's not that I don't like it because. Compare it to Ohio State with C.J. Stroud. It gives me pause that he's an Ohio State quarterback, but when I watch him play, what I saw is different than previous Ohio State quarterbacks. I see a guy who can go from read 1 to 2 to 3, which I didn't see previously. Aaron Rodgers is different than Brett Favre. He's different dude. So it's not that, although I think about it, that's not why. I don't like the chaos. I don't want chaos.
What about his gameplay last year? Wasn't great.
Yeah. But if you remember 3 years ago before, who the hell's the head coach over there in Green Bay?
That would be LaFleur.
Before LaFleur got there, he had his worst year of his career, and everybody thought he was done. And then LaFleur gets there and he wins back-to-back MVPs. So he lost Adams.
Yeah, but now he's going to Robert Saleh, for Christ's sake.
Yeah. But he's got Nathaniel Hackett, who was his favorite offensive coordinator.
That's your boy. Now
I'm
he's
not
your
thrilled
boy.
about that either.
Let's go. You're gonna know
Nathaniel Hackett with Lamar Jackson.
You're gonna end up with Drew Lock for. You're gonna go.
Yeah, Nathaniel Hackett, West Coast offense with Lamar Jackson. Yeah, boy.
Oh man,
that sounds great.
All right, let's talk about golf.
Let's talk about some golf.
As we both have it on our TVs right now.
Yep, see it right over my shoulder, right?
It's
here.
A beautiful, beautiful day in Northeast Florida. So I asked Peter to give me 5 guys that he thinks they could win this tournament. This is
Players Championship.
This is the first TPC Sawgrass with the Island Green, the famous 17.
Before we get into the players, I just want to say that the coolest thing about that Island Green, obviously the coolest thing is the way it looks. But the really cool thing about, what is it, 130 yards?
137, yep.
Right? I've said this last year. I'll probably say it every year that we do this podcast, but I've said it every year previously, so I'm going to say it again. I am blown away when these guys are 130 yards out on a regular hole. They're thinking, how do I get this thing inside of 10 feet? Like they're throwing darts at the pin. It's amazing the psychology of sports because it's 137 yards and the water freaks them the fuck out. Just before we came on to do the podcast today, somebody dumped it in, and I'm like, these guys, if you gave them a shot from 137 yards from a fairway, they would hit the green 95. Oh. They would hit the green 95 out of 100, and
they'd come within 6 feet.
If they missed it, it would be on a fringe. Like they're not missing the green from 137. It's just not happening. So it's like a tee box, and it's uncanny how often it happens and it lands in the water. It's just bananas.
Turn around in 3 seconds. You're going to see a great shot of it.
I'm a little delayed, but I can see it. Yeah, I can see it right there.
Oh, beautiful.
So I find that fascinating. That's what's so fun about it, right? Like the psychology of it, that they see the water in it. And even if they look calm and they do stay calm, there's no reason for them. These are pros. These are the best in the world. And they put it in the water. It's crazy.
That flag is so it's
beautiful.
It's so beautiful. It's so close to the water. It's so nerve-wracking. All right. I got 5 for you, buddy.
Let's hear it.
Number 5, I got Ricky Fowler.
Ooh, look at you with the big balls.
He's been a ghost for a long time now. He's
been playing better, though.
Playing a lot better. Mm-hmm. He's won there before, so Cobden should be pretty good. And you get him in a pretty good number, you know?
You make a good point. He did win. Yeah. He did win there. That's a good one. I didn't have him I didn't put him in any specific order. I just have 5 guys. So, I mean, to me, at the top of the list is Rory McIlroy. He's been playing pretty well. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think he's won it before.
I don't know if he's won it.
I don't know if he's won. He usually plays pretty well here, though. So I'm going to go with Rory, but he's definitely been playing. Everywhere. Yeah, there's that. He's been playing pretty well to start the season, so I'm going to put him in there. Top 5.
And I've always liked him, but in the last year and a half, he's took a really big step in my liking for him.
The LIV stuff?
Yeah, a little bit of that, but then he backed it up.
Like, well, I was just going to say, I think that fight has actually, with Norman, with LIV in general.
Remember, I think he overtook Norman's wins the weekend he was talking shit. So that to me shows something, man. Like,
but it's done something to him, or maybe you could say for him. Like, I don't know how to explain it properly.
He's been accepted more.
He's manned up. Yeah, he's kind of manned up, and I think maybe it's given him a little more mental fortitude. Like Rory has a way of folding sometimes, and he goes into like little kid mode and just kind of like pouts and walks off, and just his game goes to shit. And I just feel like this battle that he's been in defending the PGA Tour has kind of like puffed his chest, built up his bravado. Like he's a little more mentally tough since this whole thing has started going down. So, I mean, maybe that has something to do with it.
Number 4 for me, this fucking guy doesn't go away. He's in every tournament. On Sunday, he's always hanging around. He's 1 shot back, 2 shots back. Patrick Cantlay.
Oh, good call. Good call. I don't have him on my list. And if you would have let me guess, this is who I would have said. It was my second. No. I'm just saying, I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, it's got to be this guy, Xander Schauffele.
Yeah,
big tournaments. This guy shows up. If it's a major, he doesn't always win them. Sometimes he doesn't always win them, but he's always there. So Xander Schauffele, he's going to be somewhere on that leaderboard. You know that he always is with the big tournaments, the majors, and the big ones. Whether it's Jack's Place or here, like he's always there. I'd like to see him start winning a little more, getting a little.
I know.
Westwood, is that the guy? Is that the British
Westwood.
He's getting a little Westwood in him, where it's like always there, never winning. I want him to see him start.
That was Ricky for a long time too. He was always there, but he never closed it out.
Like see him start winning a little more.
I got a very consistent young fella, ice in his veins. Sometimes makes ridiculous shots, good and bad, but he's always hanging around. Happy Gilmore's caddy, Will Zalatoris.
I like Will Zalatoris, and I will absolutely put him on my list a few weeks from now when we're at the Masters.
Yeah,
because
dude,
he plays
he's
very
gonna win.
well
He's
there.
gonna win one of these this year. He's gonna win something. He's so
I
good.
think you're probably right. I like him a lot. I do not have him on the list, and I'm going to be totally honest with you here. I like your list better than my list. Mine is very vanilla. Mine is very vanilla. Yours is very interesting. And then let me get you as vanilla as it gets right now.
Scotty Scheffler.
I'm going to put Scotty Scheffler on my list for sure. And frankly, if you don't have anybody out there, if you don't have Scotty Scheffler on your list every single week, then I don't know what you're watching. This guy is just unbelievable. Does everything well. He just does he has no holes in his game. Drives the ball well, hits disgustingly ridiculous irons, putts very well, chips well. He does everything well. So, and he's consistent as shit. It's like really sometimes it actually pisses me off. Like, can we find some flaws, dude? Please, something once in a while.
Number 2 for me, young, great, exciting player. He's awful out of the sand, and you can see the nerves on Sunday get to him. I think that'll come over maturity and over time and experience. Victor Hovland.
Scotty did his homework this week. I like this. Scotty did his homework this week. All right, I got 2 wild cards here. This maybe juices it up a little bit. My first one, historically great player, but the last couple years, I don't know if it's injuries.
Jason Day.
Oh, you bastard. Great call, Jason Day. Been playing much better at the beginning of the season. Kind of at the end of the season last year, frankly, was playing a little better, but more beginning of the season.
He got healthier.
He
took more time off and didn't rush back.
The guy drives at 1,000,000 yards. He's a great putter.
So
like when his game is on, he's tough to beat. So he's playing much better. And like you said, he's healthy. So I got Jason Day in that mix.
I got a Jason Day story for you real quick. So
I would love a Jason Day story.
Mac will remember this too. He was with me. We're at the Northern Trust, Ridgewood Country Club down the road.
Oh, yeah.
A couple years ago, right before the world ended. We're sitting behind the first tee, elevated bleachers. Everyone's taking a par 4. Everyone's taking a driver. Guy takes a friggin' either a driving iron or a 2 or 3 iron and drives it past everybody. And we're going, holy shit! The guy knew he couldn't go driver. He'd be in the water or the sand,
right?
And he still drove it past. Like, it's incredible. Like,
it's ridiculous.
So to your point, guy could hit it, man. When he's right, his back's right.
When he's right, he's top 5. Like, that's just is what it is, you know. Bobby Mack with the line of the day, I think. Zalatoris still sounds like a mouthwash to me.
You just made his day. He's right.
I think that's hilarious.
And number 1 for me, no shocker here, Scotty Scheffler. Fantastic player. Him and John Rahm are battling every week for the best player in the world. And you know what's great about him too? He's so big in big events.
Yes.
And he's become a little bit more personable and likable. You need a little bit more juice because if you're going to be in the spotlight all the time, you can't be a dud, man. Like, you gotta
say a little something, man. You got to bring a little something to the table other than the play. Yep. My last one here, and to be honest with you, if you look at the last couple of years, he has not played well overall, but he tends to show up in big spots, especially when people count him out. You want to take a guess at this one?
Jordan Spieth.
No, but you scared me with the J. Justin Rose.
Oh, there you go.
I think he's played well here before also, and I like that. Believe me when I tell you, Scotty, I know you know this, but maybe for people who don't necessarily play a lot of golf, the course matters. Sometimes the course just fits your eye and sometimes it doesn't. I tell people all the time about a course that I played down here. It's called Buena Vista Country Club. It's gorgeous. It's like, it's not on any of the golf apps. It's still like you have to call. So it's not overrun.
That's great.
It doesn't get played out by midsummer. It's still very cushiony, beautiful, but it's not long. And it's not a particularly difficult course. And I'm like, I should score. I can't score at this fucking place, no matter what. Great conditions. Like, it's a beautiful place. It's quiet. No one's rushing you. You're never waiting. Like tee boxes and stuff. You're never waiting. And I just can't score there for some reason. Like the holes, but yet you put me on some of these other courses that are way tougher. For some reason, I knock them. It doesn't make any sense except for like some courses. And this is when I think of like with Justin Rose. Sometimes if it fits his eye, he tends to play well, no matter how he was even playing the week before. We've seen it in the past where he will not even make the cut one week, and then the following week he'll win the tournament.
Yeah,
or be in the final grouping in that tournament. Like, it's crazy, but that's just the kind of player he is. He just can find it out of nowhere, especially if it's a course that he's comfortable with.
Yep,
and I think he is here. So I think you might see him there. By the way, for those that have listened to us before, we've mentioned Mike Dean with Dean Dome Sports. He sends Scotty and I I don't know if he still sends to you, but I think he does, right? Yep. He sends us his list of for DraftKings and FanDuel.
Yeah.
He sends his list. So, take a look, check out his podcast, Dean Dome Sports, and you might be able to catch what he's up to each and every week, usually, especially with the majors, but he puts them out there every week.
Mike's a hell of a guy. I don't know him well, but I just want to send good wishes out to his wife.
Good dude.
I believe she had surgery and
ACL surgery.
Yeah, and he's got to take care of her. So I wish her the best of luck, because Mike's probably going to be betting every 4 seconds on this golf thing, and I hope she doesn't get forgotten about.
And she's probably going to lose a lot of weight because Mike cannot cook. She's either going to be eating cereal nonstop for the next month. Mac and cheese. Like, she's going to be not enjoying cuisine, as we say. Are we done?
Are you ready?
Are we done? Is this it? Is it time?
Yeah, it's time.
Scotty's new close out of the show. I'm so excited here.
All
Should
right,
we have like a drum roll or something?
So what I did in my head, I think I want to do a little trivia as we close every week now. We both love trivia.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to start with something that's close to my heart, the Denver Broncos.
Okay.
It's a 3-part question for you, sir.
Am I answering this?
You are.
Or are we going to leave it out there? Are we going to leave it out there for?
No, you could answer it. Let's close it with a little back and forth, as we like to do. It's a 3-parter.
Jesus Christ, I feel like it's a goddamn SATs.
You look a little nervous. You're sweating.
I am.
That pretty beard of yours.
Sat up tall and everything.
How many Super Bowls have the Broncos been in?
How many have they been in?
How many have they been in?
7?
Oh my goodness, so close.
6?
8.
4 with John Elway. 2 with Peyton Manning.
Yep.
And I don't know. Who else?
5 with John Elway.
Was it 5?
Yeah.
He lost 3?
Yeah. He went home with 3, and then he won the last 2.
Wow, that's awful.
A man named Craig Morton, that piece of shit.
Oh, okay, yeah. I knew there was another one. That's why I made it 7. But I thought he only went to 5.
So their record?
Well, 3 and 5.
Yes, sir. You got that one right.
Okay.
And can you name their opponents?
Oh my God.
I'll give you a hint. They never played the same team twice.
Yeah, I'd have to work backwards. So you got Seattle.
Boom. No.
Well, they lost to Seattle. That wasn't the last one.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you said you're working backwards.
Who the hell they just beat with Peyton Manning practically throwing left-handed?
So the quarterback on that team won MVP, and he's been a ghost ever since, basically.
Cam Newton?
Yep.
Oh, was it Carolina? Cam Newton?
Yep.
Good guess. All right, he has been a ghost. He's dead now. NFL wise, his career's dead. His
Yeah,
career's
Jesus.
dead. He's not dead. Jeez, guy getting in a car accident will be my fault. Shit, man.
This one's gonna be tough.
San Fran?
They're in there, but they not in your order. They're in there.
Yeah, I'm out. Tell me.
All right, we'll go from
Giants?
Yep, Giants in there. Max smiling now, that bastard. Hope his mustache tickles his nostrils.
Washington?
Washington's in there. Yep. You got 3 more.
3. Yeah, I'm out.
The Dallas Cowboys.
That's an old
one,
one, right?
That was the first one.
Okay.
And the 2 they won back to back, the Green Bay Packers
Both times it was Green Bay?
and the Atlanta Falcons.
Oh, okay. And Atlanta Falcons one is that's
Well, I thank God for that. Them beating
That's a
Minnesota because
fugazi.
Minnesota was fucking nasty that year. And
was that a
that's the year
Randy Moss?
And that's the year the Jets should have beat us in the championship game too.
Thanks a lot for throwing that 6 degrees of Jets in there. Fantastic.
Well, listen, I didn't say it was going to be painless for you.
Oh, thanks. You always got to find a way to stab me in the neck. Nice. I like that. I like the new closer show.
We'll
Trivia.
get some tricky ones for you if we can.
All right. I got some news of the day. Headline: 28 girls hospitalized with anxiety after what were they playing with, Scotty? 28 girls hospitalized with anxiety after playing with this.
Phone?
A Ouija board. A Ouija board. Nearly 30 schoolgirls have been hospitalized with anxiety attacks after allegedly playing with a Ouija board at their school in Colombia. Like how I said that? Spanish accent. That was very good. 28 possible cases, blah, blah, blah. Have you ever used a Ouija board?
A long, long time ago.
Did it work for you? Like, did it move and all that stuff?
From what I remember, we didn't ask like really like deep down dark secret questions. But
I'll tell you something.
You got a story?
14 years old.
Oh, boy.
Freshman baseball. We had practice, but it got rained out. So we went to one of the team managers' homes, and she had a Ouija board. The whole team is there. We start messing around with it, and it's like, fake and all this kind of stuff. But then a couple of us were like off to the side while everybody was being a dopey, and we started like really doing it. And then we borrowed it and went back to my house. There was 3 of us back at my house. And this thing starts flying all over the board. And we're asking, like, what is our final batting averages going to be? And by the way, it picked our final batting averages within 10 points on each of us. It was disgusting. It was a wild, like, crazy night of what went on. Scary shit. About a week, I had the scariest nightmares. I woke up multiple times in the middle of the night. I'm dying. I'm like, what are we doing? Like, it was just brutal. And these guys slept over. There's 3 of us there. And I just was freaking out. So it was a couple days later. My bedroom was upstairs. There had 2 floors, and I was upstairs. And I come to the top of the stairs after I wake up in the morning. And at the bottom of the stairs, I see a Ouija board. You ever see in the movies where like there's something in the distance and then the camera just zooms in on it? That's what happened to me. I'm like, and like the camera went all, and I see the Ouija board. And I'm like, where the fuck is that? I'm like freaking out. I'm like, Dad, what are he says, oh, I saw you guys. My dad's like, I saw you guys were having a lot of fun with it. And I thought I'd get you one. Like, I didn't want you to have to borrow. I thought I'd get you one. And I'm like, take it back right now. And I swear to God, he's like, really? I'm like, get it out of the house. So while this story of these 28 girls sounds ridiculous, it would have been 29 girls.
Peter and his girlfriend.
I identify as an anxious girl when I'm using the Ouija board. So believe me, not fun. I have no fond memories of playing with that goddamn thing. Wow. It was crazy. It was
That's
crazy.
Interesting.
I can't even like to tell you everything, which because this went on over like 10 hours. We were just nonstop because
you got no sleep.
It really started moving. It was crazy. So 100 fucking episodes, my man.
Yeah, boy.
Unbelievable. Awesome. 100 more to come.
Very cool, man.
For Scott Bracey, I am Pete Colasano. You've been listening to 100th episode of Bump and Run, and we'll catch you guys next week.
Later.
Boom.
Beautiful, bro. Sorry for the fucking computer shit again in the beginning.
Nah. You know what? If it's all the same, if you can, then just use this
Yeah,
one from now. on. So it
Max
should be
gonna
fine.
stop. Max gonna stop by this week, I think, and take a look at
Okay.
the other thing. So
Cool.
yeah, bro, we'll figure it out.
Cool. I'll get this done tonight.
Thanks, pal. I'll see you
All
later.
right, dude. Talk to you later.
Later.